Sorry, video cut off. So part two. I'm just gonna keep going. So basically, yeah, man, we've got this evil world where conditions aren't being met for people to survive. You might argue that they're getting food stamps and then they're selling their food stamps for drugs. You could argue that, or maybe you could say that the food stamps are not enough. Okay, it's not enough to support a family. It's not enough to support healthy food, things like that. So if they're going in and stealing, maybe they're taking advantage of the system, or maybe they're really hungry. If you think about it, what are they stealing? They're stealing food. What do you think they're doing with that? Selling it for drugs? No, they're probably eating it. Okay, so we've got these really bad economic conditions, and they're not cracking down on criminals. Now, again, should you steal? No. So yeah, crack down on them. So make it so they don't steal, I suppose. But of course, again, it's just a symptom of a sick system, right? It's a symptom of a sick system. However, there's a lot more going on here. Now let's get into it. So I'm going to watch this again, and I'm going to stop and talk about it. Does that remind you of somebody? Does that remind you of somebody? It reminds you of Karl Marx, right? Karl Marx was pretty much a loafer, pretty much didn't do much, right? And then he was living off other people or whatever, and then he became a communist, right? So communism doesn't work. We all know that, right? If you ask a Republican, he'll tell you why, and he'll give you point by point instructions why, and it'll probably be a good argument. Fantastic. Communism doesn't work. Let's agree. So it's not about that. We're not talking about communism. We're talking about the conditions that create a necessity for communism. That's what we're talking about. And who sets those conditions? The people who rule the world. Who sets the wage limit? The people who run the stock market, the people who run your economy, the people who run the Fed, right? Who tells you how much to pay in taxes? Those same people. It's all a game, man. It's all a game. People have this like innate ability to just like assume that the government is trustworthy. It's not. People have this innate ability to assume that the economy is this thing that functions and works because it's all synergistic and it's like like no, it's a bunch of bullshit. There's people who pull a lever. That's all. There's people who pull a lever and they tell you how much you get paid, and they tell you how many hours you should work, and they tell you, basically they're dictating to you how to be a slave. The world is in slavery. Sorry. Working is slavery. Okay? It is. Why? Because it can be automated, because we don't need to do it. It doesn't have to be a 9 to 5. They can fix it to where it's human, to where like, yeah, we can play into this system. And they're probably going to do that at some point, but it's going to be always ruled by evil, right? The governments and power is always ruled by evil. So when that happens, when the New World Order comes and they sell it to you, like, and they're conditioning you to do that, Trump's like, here's your $1,200, here's your $2,000, here's these little these little breadcrumbs to leading you into the trap, right? He's conditioning people to get used to the government, and that's part and parcel of all this. It conditions people to get used to the government. That's why they're implementing these government-run food chains, these government subsidy food chains, right? And you're just conditioning you to take the mark of the beast. Digital IDs that they're implementing in the UK. You have to get a digital ID, or else you can't buy food. You can't get on a flight. You can't go traveling on a train. That's conditioning people to take the mark of the beast. COVID, what was COVID? It was beta testing to see how much people would comply with government shutdowns, right? That's what it was. They wanted to see, we're going to do massive shutdowns throughout the entire earth, and we're going to check you to see how you're going to react. Are you going to uprise? Are you going to revolt? Let's see. Right? So there's beta testing, and then there's conditioning, and it's all for their master plan. A lot of this stuff is just little pieces, and it's hidden in subterfuge, and they make you think, oh, it's communist, it's left, right. They're very brilliant at what they do, these social engineers. They're the masters of society. They're the Freemasons. They're the Zionists, the royal family, the Catholic Church, right? The cabal. There's all these factions, and then the people behind them, the Illuminati, the super insanely wealthy families, right? They're the ones doing all this. They're the ones, okay? They're the ones who dictate how many hours you work, who set the mortgage rates, who set the rent prices so high that you can barely afford to eat. They know just how much you should get for where you can barely afford to eat, right? Yeah, it's a conspiracy. That's right. It is a conspiracy. It's a concerted effort to keep you enslaved so they can rule over you. That's why it's called the 1%. Okay? So let's listen and keep going. Right. So again, it reminds you of Karl Marx. So Karl Marx was a deep state puppet. He was a Freemason. He has the picture with his hand in his coat. That's not a coincidence. It's not just something cool people did. That's called the hidden hand symbol. They love symbols. They're the same people who did the Bloods and the Crips, right? The CIA, whatever, infiltrated the Black Panther Party. Go watch Baron Davis, the ex-NBA basketball player. He put out a documentary called Crips and Bloods Made in America. Watch that movie because he talks about how the CIA infiltrated the Black Panthers and turned them into the Bloods and Crips. The Black Panthers were a strong movement and they were coming together to defend black people, and the government was like, oops, we don't want this to happen. So they went in and they infiltrated, just like they do with governments who, foreign governments who won't accept the fiat currency, who won't accept central bank from Rothschild central bank in their country. They go in and they dispose and they cause coups and they dispose of leaders who won't play ball, and then they put somebody in who will play ball. That's what happened with Fidel in Cuba and all these South American countries, etc. Contras and all that. It's all infiltrated, right? It's all infiltrated by the deep state. Even in Africa, they're doing all that stuff. And it's also over resources. They want the resources in these places, right? So, Marx. So my point is that social engineering. There's people behind the scenes who are using communism, using the economic conditions, using poverty, using hunger, using these things to implement more and more control. That's what you got to pay attention to. More and more control. Why was the old mayor of Seattle, Bruce Harris or whatever his name was, why was he allowing these criminals to come in and out of the jails? Why was he not really locking these people up? Because they want social disorder. The deep state benefits from social disorder. They know good and well there's Seattle, there's New York, there's Miami, and there's Los Angeles, right? Those are the four corners of the world. Now, Miami and Florida hasn't had too many problems. There's probably various reasons for that. Maybe it's such a nice place that the deep state wants to leave it alone. It's not a shithole, right? And also Florida, you kind of don't want to mess with Florida people. They got a lot of guns and they don't fuck around, right? In Florida, excuse my French, but Los Angeles is a crap hole. Seattle's becoming a crap hole. Portland's a crap hole, right? And Seattle's horrible with this liberalism, right? And New York is a crap hole, liberalism. So they don't care about those places. So they're throwing in these immigrants, right? They're throwing in these. They're releasing criminals. They're not penalizing for theft, right? It's on purpose. They want social disorder. They want these problems so they can come in. So what did Trump do? He came in and he brought in the National Guard to Portland, to New York, Chicago, Los Angeles. He brought in the I don't even know if the National Guard. I think it was the military, full on military, right? He brought them in. Why? They're conditioning people for a police state. They're making it normal to have a police state. They don't want people fighting back. They can't go as far as they're going in the UK because the UK doesn't have guns. So they can throw their weight around in the UK, but they don't want to fuck with Americans. Pardon my French. They don't want to mess with Americans, right? Because Americans got guns and Americans ain't playing around with that crap. They're not playing around with government tyranny. We were founded on freedom from government tyranny, yet we have succeeded. I don't know if succeeded is the right word, but we have given up a lot of our rights in the name of protection and in the name of freedom and in the name of nationalism and protecting our borders. We've given up a lot of rights. NSA, right? Evil stuff. They're spying on us and stuff. Now, you could say that, oh, well, look at, they've uncovered Hillary's emails and they've uncovered Trump's emails. Maybe it's coming back to bite them. I don't know. But it's all planned because they're the people who really run the world, they're not the Trumps and the Hillarys of the world. Those guys are puppets. The people who really run the world, and if you notice, Hillary still hasn't been arrested. She's still a billionaire owning islands. The Clintons will never get taken to court because they're too high up. They're too high up in the gang. Okay, if somebody gets taken to court like Diddy or whatever, it's because they mess with the wrong person. Diddy messed with somebody. Sean Combs messed with somebody, and Sean Combs, in my opinion, is an Epstein character. He's totally an Epstein. There's too many clues and that are pointing directly to that. He's an Epstein character. He's a trafficker. Period. But the reason why he wasn't taken out and he only got a little 5-year sentence, which he'll do 3 probably, even though it's the feds, they say you're supposed to do it all or whatever, but he'll probably do 3 on good behavior. He'll have some gospel outreach or something that, he's sitting pretty. I saw a picture of him and he was all smiling on the yard or whatever. So he's sitting pretty because he's connected. And so they gave him a little tap on the shoulder and said, hey, because he went up against this bigger company, so it's the families, and Kanye's going back and taking off all his anti-Semitic stuff because they got to him. They probably threatened his family or whatever. These people got power, and so they can take out the Bill Cosbys, and they can take out the Sean Combses, and they can take out the Kanye Wests, and they can take out people who are really exposing them, and they took out JFK, and they took out Charlie Kirk, and they took out Michael Jackson. Okay, he was exposing them, right? They take these people out, right? When they get high enough and they get enough influence, they'll take you out if you go against them. So these are the people who set the conditions, right? People need to understand that. Again, Karl Marx was a puppet. He was one of these puppets, just like Putin is a puppet, just like Stalin was a puppet, just like Vladimir Lenin was an agent for the deep state. These people are agent provocateurs. The best way that they control the opposition is to become the opposition, is to lead it themselves, right? The best way to become the opposition is to lead it themselves. So they play both sides. They own both the left and the right. People need to understand that. It's not just, the Democrats versus the Republicans. No. That's not the game. That's not the game. The game is we own everything. We play both sides. We set the conditions. We own you. We rule the world. We run the world, and you are going to do our bidding. You're slaves. That's the game, right? That's the game. It's not, we need to get somebody into the government who's going to fix something. No. The government is owned. If the government is we the people by the people, then why does nobody trust the government? Why is the government all corrupt? Why is the government not actually helping people? Why is it taking all our money in taxes? Now, okay, taxes. You want to talk about that? Let's, argue about that. Well, I think if the taxes are actually going to good things like helping poor people, fine, take my taxes because I'm for that. Now, you could argue and be like libertarian and say, oh, no, we shouldn't have taxes. Whatever. It's not the point. Whether we have taxes or not, we're still being ruled. Okay. All right, we could have these arguments, but they're just the lower level arguments. We're still being ruled, right? We're still under tyranny. We're under the deep state control, and that's just the truth. And it's been that way since Babylon. Okay, it's evil, and these people are evil people. Anyway, let's go on.
Access to affordable, healthy food is a basic right. We cannot allow giant grocery chains to...
Yeah, I don't believe that there's food deserts because of... I don't believe there's food deserts because of the crime. I don't think that's really why. To me, it's a setup. It's a total setup, I think. I think they... Because, again, if you understand what they do, they create the conditions, right? They create the conditions... and then they come in with the solution, right? So she's only telling half the story. Part of it is that they want to do immigration. So just like I like this video because at the beginning of the video, it put out a comparison between this girl and Mondami, and it's like they're both socialists who lived off their parents or whatever. That's not, that's a coincidence, but it's an interesting coincidence because I believe Mondami was put there. In my heart of hearts, my gut says Mondami was put there so he's going to totally take a blind eye on immigration. And I think she's going to do the same thing. They're both put there. That's the real reason they're there. It's multifaceted. There's a couple reasons they're there. It's not because, oh, we're trying to help the people. It's they're going to allow massive immigration, massive illegal immigration, because that's what the deep state wants, because it doesn't want strong families. It doesn't want strong nuclear families. It wants to mix up it wants to throw chaos into the order of what our country is, into our traditional country. It wants to take away our values, and it's doing that by flooding our country with immigrants who don't respect our culture, who are going to turn our streets into chaos. And the point of that is so they can bring in the deep state. The point of that, or excuse me, not the deep state, a police state. They are the deep state, but the point is that so they can bring in a police state, right? They need more surveillance, because the more crimes there are, the more need there is for surveillance. So they create the conditions which causes the needs that they want. So then they just order out of chaos, right? That's the Freemason crest. So that's the Freemason motto. So if there's going to be a nation that is flooded with immigrants, it's going to eventually become chaotic, because they're not going to get along. Hopefully they will. Hopefully God will fix it. But I mean, it's all coming to an end anyway if you read the Bible. But it's going to create the conditions for them to put more cameras on every corner. You know, there's cameras everywhere. Driving around, I see cameras all over. There's cameras everywhere on every building. There's cameras. People have stopped noticing that. They used to call it Big Brother. Big Brother is watching. Well, there's cameras everywhere. You go to some store and there's these, and it's like, why is that there? Why is that big thing there that's got a camera on it, and it's got this blue beeping light, and it's saying, hello, you're being watched, or whatever? Why is that there? Isn't that an invasion of our privacy? And people don't even care anymore. Like 10, 15 years ago, they used to call it Big Brother, and they were making a big deal out of it. They stopped caring about that. So when you have these conditions being met, they're going to implement more control, more cameras, more police state, more, they're going to need the digital IDs. They're going to say, well, we need to ID you because everybody's an immigrant, so it's a problem. So now we need to ID you to make sure that you are who you say you are, so you can get food. And guess what? That's when the Antichrist comes. That's called the mark of the beast. That's what it says in the Bible in Revelation. It says you will not be able to buy or sell or eat unless you have the mark on your forehead or your wrist. That's the mark of the beast. That's Antichrist. That's what they're trying to implement. That's the point of this. Seattle is on the far west coast. New York is on the far east coast. They're taking over both coasts. I don't know what's going on in Miami, but I'll tell you they're doing it in Los Angeles too. They're doing it in Los Angeles. They're doing it in New York. Probably doing it in the Bay Area. Probably doing it in Portland for sure. Doing it in Seattle. I don't know what's going on with Miami. I don't know what's going on with these coastal North Carolina, whatever. DC, I don't know. But they know what they're doing, right? That's the thing about America. That's why America's so strong, because it's got the East Coast and the left coast. It's got the Atlantic and the Pacific. It's a great trade country for trade. That's why it's so powerful, right? That's why we're so rich and wealthy and powerful, is because we're right smack dab there. So what are they trying to do? They're trying to set up these things on each coast. They know what they're doing, right? So I think this food desert stuff is on purpose, right? I think they're implementing these government stores, on purpose, so they have a deeper goal with this. They're getting the public ready for digital IDs. They're conditioning us to shop at these government stores, because I guarantee you, these government stores, what are they going to require? They're going to require some kind of ID. You're like, oh, you got to show your ID before you can come into the government store. Pretty soon, they're going to go after the lower store. They're going to go after Trader Joe's. They're going to go after Winco. They're going to go after Grocery Outlet. They're going to go after Kroger, QFC, all these little stores, and they all vary. I shouldn't say little stores, but these smaller chain companies. They're already taking out Safeway. They're already taking out Fred Meyer, right? It's on purpose. It's strategic. They took them out in Redmond. They took it out in Lake City. They took it out in South Seattle. They're taking them out in Seattle. These are implementing, it's strategic. You gotta know who you're up against. You gotta know what they're doing, and you gotta read between the lines. This is culture. This is social and cultural warfare. Okay, it's social engineering. Watch Yuri Bezmenov. Go watch Yuri Bezmenov. Let's continue.
To stomp all over our communities, close stores at will, and leave behind food deserts. Together we can build a Seattle where...
Yeah, these people are just puppets. She's just a woman who's reading off of a script. They're just puppets. Mamdani is a puppet. This woman is only 43 years old. She came out of nowhere. Why is she mayor? It doesn't make any sense, right? I'm not a career politician, but I can tell you she looks pretty unqualified. She's just reading off a script. She just had all the right things to say. Somebody gave her a script. She was picked. She was selected. She was groomed, just like Mamdani, right? This is how they roll.
Fresh food is for everyone, not just for those who can afford it. Food deserts are not natural. Corporations create them when they abandon our communities.
Meanwhile...
Do the corporations create them? Why would a corporation abandon? That doesn't make any sense. Think about that for a second. A corporation abandons the way that they make money. That doesn't make sense. You can say, oh, they're losing money. Maybe, but you want to know what? I live in some of these areas, and I don't see a whole lot of theft, right? Maybe once in a while, but I'm not seeing it like massively. I think it's the old okey doke. I think it's the old okey doke, right? She says corporations, so she's blaming the corporations instead of saying, hey, why doesn't she's blaming the corporations instead of blaming the Justice Department. Why don't you arrest these people? Why don't you, we can't afford the armed guards. Like, really, Fred Meyer can't afford an armed guard? No, I've been in Fred Meyer. They have armed guards. The store that shut down had an armed guard. Okay, these places have armed guard. That's not the problem. The problem is that this is on purpose. The problem is somebody's coming in and saying, "Hey, shut these places down. This is part of our goal. Food deserts. We want these food deserts. Why? It creates a need. Now there's a need for the government, right? Again, pay attention to what they're doing instead of just saying, let's support some other small business who can come in, some small business who can come in and set up their store. Maybe we need more Wincos. But no, it's the Fred Meyers the problem. The corporations are the problem. See, so that didn't make any sense. So they're lying to you right there. Yeah, this is social engineering to me. I can see right through this. Okay, maybe there is theft. Why is there theft? Right? It's the conditions. Because people are poor. And Republicans don't care about that. They don't care about poor people. So, of course, they're going to get on board and be like, oh, yeah, let's just darn these evil corporations. It's like, they're just fools. They're being led around by their nose.
As mayor, I'm excited to step up and with UFCW explore public option grocery stores to fill those gaps.
Yeah, she's just a puppet. Government run or subsidized stores, right? And then they're going to blame the Democrats and be like, this is what the Democrats want. No, this is the deep state, dummies. It's not just the Democrats. It's not just the Republicans. Republicans are not the saviors. They're part of the problem. They're just one wing of the same deep state bird. That's all.
And who is going to pay for it?
Yeah. Oh, it's coming from our taxes, right? Yeah, sure. But guess where else our taxes go? Israel. For no reason. Why do our taxes not go anywhere else? Why aren't our taxes going to Sudan? Sudan's fighting, there's a bunch of places in Africa that are fighting a genocide, and they got Christians. Their Christians are being slaughtered and martyred. Okay? Why aren't we going in and supporting them? because they don't run our government, because they're not the deep state, because they don't own our banks, but Israel does. That's why. Why is Israel our number one ally? Get smart, wake up. Why? Because they own our banks, they own our money. What did the Baron Rothschild, what did he say? He said, I don't care what puppet is on the stage. I don't care what puppet is on the throne of the queen I don't care what puppet is the leader of England, the queen or king of England. I don't care what puppet is on stage. The person who really runs England is the one who owns their money. I'm the one who owns their money. Therefore, I run England. That's a Rothschild quote. It ain't different today. It ain't any different. They own the Fed. They're printing the money. That's what I'm telling you. It's a big game. It's a big board game. It's a big board game. That's all it is. There are people who run the world, and it ain't who you think it is. They're not just, oh, America is this sovereign country. Russia is its own country. China is its own country. No. It's already going on. The deep state runs it all. They own all these people. Who do you think came up with communism? Bolsheviks. So if communism infiltrated China and the Asian countries and Russia, then it's run by the Bolsheviks. It's run by the people who started it. When did communism come about? In the 1800s, right? When did Rothschilds take power? The 1700s. Think about it. It all adds up, man. It all adds up when you know what you're talking about, when you actually study it, when you actually do your homework and you study it. It all makes perfect sense. It's just people can't get past these little roadblocks, such as that I trust our government, such as that the government wouldn't lie to us, such as that, oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist. These are roadblocks to keeping you, cognitive dissonance robots, to keep you from knowing the truth. Right? To keep you from, it's plausible deniability. Oh, it's just they just shuck it off. They don't have time. They don't have time to go study. They're slaves, so they don't have time. They're too busy watching their sports, right? Too busy watching their movies, chain consuming the new series on Netflix, whatever it is. There's a million of them. Pick your poison. And then if you try to tell them, hey, no, wait a minute, wake up, this is going on, then what is it? You're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, you're just a wacky, and go get your tinfoil hat. It's like, all right, we told you. We warned you. We've been warning you, man. We've been warning you. Cat's out the bag. If you don't realize that Trump is compromised, if he's a deep state agent, he's a deep state puppet, the truth is just in everyone's face. It's right there. You're just willfully ignorant at this point. Or you're scared, which I don't blame. If you're scared, I get it. It's scary. For sure it's scary. 100%. It's just, you got to look at the bigger picture, is that God's coming back. Armageddon's coming. Everybody's turning against Israel. Israel's getting exposed. Of course, they'll cut Trump off. They'll throw Trump under the bus as long as they're protected. That's what they're trying to do now. They're trying to protect their assets. They're trying to say, wait a minute, okay, if Trump's going down, we got to play damage control. If Trump's going down, we got to make sure the Jews are still on the up and up in America. We got to make sure, we got to do our best. But they're still attacking the truth. Trump's trying to get rid of Thomas Massey. He's trying to get rid of Marjorie Taylor Greene. The deep state is attacking Nick Fuentes. They're attacking Tucker Carlson. They got to Kanye, although Kanye was an oddball anyways. He was pointing in the direction of the evil, but he wasn't really exposing it deeply. He was just telling you, he's like, yeah, this is real. And he said what he said, but now he's going back on it. He's apologizing, removing the music, and da-da-da-da. Okay, they got to him, fine. Kanye was an oddball anyways. Right? All right, it is what it is. But Nick Fuentes is out here telling the truth, and they're attacking this guy. Tucker's out here telling the truth. They're attacking him. Candace Owens, they don't like her. It's crazy stuff, man. It's real. It's for real. yeah, they want to blame socialism and they want to blame communism, but they don't want to blame the conditions that cause these problems in the first place, and they don't want to admit that there's things going on behind the scenes that they can't control, because that's a hard pill to swallow. Waking up and realizing the world is run by evil people. It's freaking crazy, man. But you got to put the pieces together. If Hollywood's run by these evil people, why wouldn't the government be? Okay, these are that's the two main things, the government and then the entertainment outlet. That's it. That's what people follow. That's what people are into. And that's what, is feeding America. It's like there's the economic system, there's the government, and then there's the entertainment system. That's what keeps people going. And the economic system plays into the food system, plays into the working and jobs. It's all the system, the matrix. That's what it is. It's all linked, and they've infiltrated all these areas, and they're controlling and running all these areas, and they're brainwashing people. It shows how effective propaganda is, but they're going to lose in the end. Of course they're going to lose in the end, because evil will always lose eventually. Yeah, they might have ruled the world for a couple thousand years behind the scenes. Okay, all right. But in the end, God has the final say. Read the book of Revelation. Okay? They might escape jail, but they won't escape hell. They might escape jail, but they won't escape hell. So, yeah, they're just implementing control. They're conditioning us to rely on the government for the food. Oh yeah, there's food deserts. These companies that just want to make money are just so mad that they keep having stuff stolen from them. Well, then how about you lower your prices? How about you pay people a living wage so they can actually afford the food? They're not addressing those issues on purpose, because they want the food deserts, and they want those conditions to keep people starving, to keep people hungry and exhausted to where they can't live a good life and really be, have enough free time to actually think about who's running our government, actually think about who's behind, actually figure it out. Because there's books out there. Lots of people are telling the truth. Cancel Fisco. Mark Dice tells a lot of truth. Alex Jones, David Icke, Henry Macau, you name it. The list goes on and on. There's truth tellers out there. Okay, Bill Cooper, right? There's books out there that expose this stuff. It's just people don't, what can you do? And that's when I was first learning about this stuff. That's what the thought that kept going through my mind. It's not that I disbelieved it. I did believe it, but it's that what can you actually do? Because we can't take over these people. I don't know what the ultimate answer is. I think for me, it's just the truth. The truth sets people free. Somehow, some way, the truth sets people free. So I like the truth. I'm an adherent to the truth. Truth should prevail. But ultimately, people need God. God is the truth. God is the ultimate truth. Because ultimately, who's behind all the evil? Who's behind all the lies? It's Satan. Satan's behind all the lies. He's behind these evil people. He's behind all this social engineering. He wants people to suffer. He doesn't want people to find Christ. He doesn't want families to function normally. He wants dysfunction. He wants chaos. He wants evil on the earth. But he's a sore loser. But here's the thing. He knows he's going down. He just wants to take down as many people as he can with him. He's read the Bible. He was there when Christ got crucified on the cross. He was there when he was judged on the cross with Christ. He was there. It's just the enactment, the carrying out of that judgment hasn't happened yet. That's up to God why he hasn't done that. He's been merciful, apparently, to a lot of people. And for whatever reason, up until now, he hasn't enacted judgment. But it's coming. Watch Israel. Once they build that third temple, it's over. That's all she wrote. They're about to build it. They got the red heifers ready, and you could call me a crazy, wacky conspiracy theorist. They're doing it. That's the last sign. The third temple is going to be rebuilt, and Antichrist is going to make a peace treaty between the Muslims and the Jews. And the Muslims are still on the warpath. They've turned Gaza into rubble. Go look at Gaza. It's complete rubble, right? But they're not done. They're going to invade all these other countries. Go watch, was it General MacArthur, the 7 countries that they're going to invade? They told us what they were going to do. 9/11, we get attacked by an Afghanistan, right? Isn't that where he was from? Bin Laden was from Afghanistan or whatever. And then for some reason we invaded Iraq, which makes no sense, right? We had to overthrow the Iraqi government instead of going into Afghanistan, which totally dumb. But the American people bought it, I guess. But it's because they wanted to invade those countries. What is it? Syria, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan. Is it Lebanon? I don't know. There's 7 countries. Go watch MacArthur. He talks about it. And he's like, well, I got this memo that we were going to invade these 7 countries. He just openly admits it. That's the goal. That's greater Israel. They want to expand. They want to colonize. They think they're going to set up the world for their little new world order. And they're gonna implement their crap. But it ain't going to happen. Because people are turning against the Jews. And go read Albert Pike. What did he say in his quote? He said, the Third World War must be fomented by warring against the Christians and the Zionists. Or no, the Muslims and the Zionists. And then the Christians are going to be in constant exhaustion or whatever because of this problem. But go read it. Albert Pike. He was a Freemason, a 33-degree Freemason, which is the deep state. It's a Jewish-run institution, the Freemasons, the Zionists and all that. It's part of the cabal, the Freemasons. It's the Freemasons, Catholic Church, Zionists, Skull and Bones, Royal Family, Ashkenazi Jews and the Chabad Jews, Rothschilds, all these families, Rockefellers, all these deep money pocket families. They're all the Illuminati. They're the ones who really run the world. That's the deep state. That's who they are. They have names. They have factions. They have names. They have titles. Okay? They're the ones who really run the world. Period. Okay? What's the answer? The answer is Christ. God is the ruler of the universe. These people might illegally run the world through evil, through power and force and greed and coercion, but God runs the world, the universe, through righteousness and love and peace. And he's going to bring it. And they're going to see God. They're going to see God. That's the truth. Everybody has to see God. We got to see God. Just like a person sees a judge, we got to see God. God is the righteous judge. Okay, and everybody's going to get judged. That's what the Bible says. It's once for man to die and then judgment, meaning everybody is going to die and be judged on how we lived our life on this earth, period. Did you accept Christ or not? If yes, then we're going to be judged on our conduct. If no, then you're done right there, because that's the way he implemented salvation. And if you reject his method of salvation, then you have to be judged. You have to be, and the judgment of sin is death. What does that mean? It means eternal torment in hell. Sorry, that's what the Bible says. Do I like it? Not necessarily. I don't understand it fully. Why didn't he really, spell it out for these people? I don't know. God knows who his children. God knows who his sheep are. For some reason, we decided to believe. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. These people are going to be judged, and I guess rightfully so, because if you act evilly, and you reject Christ, you're going to be judged. These people are Satan's offspring. What did Jesus say in the Gospels? He said, offspring of vipers. That's what he called them. And these are the same people, those Babylonian, those Judaistic people, those Pharisees and the Sadducees. They were Babylonian evil. Go read the books of the prophets right before the Gospels in the Old Testament, the last 10 or so books in the Old Testament, the prophets. He talks about how exceedingly evil Israel became with their corrupt judges and their corrupt leaders and the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They became Babylonian. What was the first thing they did in the wilderness? They built a golden calf. They stole all that gold from Egypt, which they shouldn't have done. They stole all that gold from Egypt. And then they used it and melted it down to create a golden calf, which was an idol. They're all about idol worship. And I'm not saying with that anybody's any better, because idolatry is just conceptually, all that means is that idolatry is just something that replaces God. That's what an idol is. It's something that replaces God. So an idol could be the NFL. An idol could be weightlifting. An idol could be movies. An idol, it's anything that replaces God. An idol could be your nice car that you love. Anything that replaces God's relationship in your life is an idol. Period. And so when they say golden calf, well, that's That's a part of the Babylonian system. They worship cows or whatever the heck. They worship their cow god, or they worship the sun god. They have all these, and that's where the Kabbalah comes from, and all this Egyptian stuff. It's all mixed. It's Babylonian, it's Egyptian, it's mixed with a lot of Roman crap. Okay? And these people, that's what they're doing behind the scenes. That's who they really worship. But behind all that stuff, all those false idols that they worship, is Satan. They're Satanists. Okay? And so these people are going to be judged. They're offspring of vipers. Period. That's who the deep state is. They're offspring of vipers. They're the ones who crucified Jesus. Right? Religion, Babylonian, fallen, Judaic, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing. It's all idol worship. But those religions, plus corrupt politics, the Roman government, conspired together to kill Jesus. It wasn't just the Jews. It wasn't just Pontius Pilate and the Romans. It was both of them together. That's what the Bible says. Go read your Bible again. They both killed an innocent man. What does that mean? It's the same today. Government and religion are antichrist. They're not for Christ. They're full of corrupt people. They're full of these evil people, these deep state people. Okay? So what's the answer? The answer is Jesus. The answer is Christ is coming back. The answer is get ready. The answer is it ain't going to fix itself. And we ain't going to fix it either by revolting or whatever. Now, maybe we can change something. I don't know. Maybe we can use some truth and delay it or whatever. But the cat's coming out of the bag one way or the other. The Bible says everything done in the dark will come to the light. The truth is out there. It's just people haven't seen it, or people are not piecing it together yet as a whole because they don't have time. They're too busy, whatever. But it's out there. And whether or not people piece it together, the Bible doesn't say people have to piece it together. It just says, watch Israel, right? It just says, when the abomination of the desolation appears in the temple, that's when you run for the hills. That's what it says in Matthew, I think, or is it for Matthew or Revelation. Those are the two books that really expose. Also, the book of Daniel exposes it. But it's the abomination of desolation in the temple. And what is that? That's a picture of the Antichrist. That's an idol of the Antichrist. And a lot of people say it's Trump. I don't think it's going to be, but I mean, he's a close one. He's trying to make these peace deals between the Middle East. It could be, but I doubt it. He just doesn't strike. It's too. It could be, but I'm doubting it. I think it's going to be a pope. Personally, I think we haven't seen him yet. I think nobody's seen him yet. That's what I think. I think that he's hidden somewhere. He's going to be a black pope. I think he's around right now. I think he's around. And it could be in the next 5 years with this 2030 agenda. They're telling us what they're going to do. The 2025 was bad. 2030 agenda is going to be real bad. Just pay attention to these things. That's all I got to say, man. It's jacked up. There's no answer. And I'm just telling you what's going on. I'm just telling you what's happening as it's happening. That's it, man. I'm doing a little bit of journalism or whatever. I'm just commenting on it, man. It is what it is. But it's like people should not be fooled that it's going to be the Democrats are the problem and the socialists. No. That's a culture war. Those are little capitalism versus communism wars. No. It's the people. It's a board game. There's people who implement those things to get us caught up, to get us arguing, and so they can control the whole board game. So they can control the whole board. They control both sides. Please understand that. All right, that's all I got to say for now. It is what it is, man. So I would say get ready for mass immigration in New York and Seattle. The streets are going to start looking bad with a lot of immigrants, man. They already are. There's just, I think it's true. The Great Replacement theory is true. I think that they are replacing white people, replacing white families, replacing white culture, and they're doing it on purpose. I live near Seattle. I see it. There's just, and it's not that I'm racist. It's just that I notice it. It's just they're everywhere. It's like almost like white people are going extinct. And they got these mosques and these weird churches and stuff for these people and these immigrants. And again, I'm not racist. I love all people, and if they want to come and assimilate to our culture, I'm not saying they got to be Christians, but it's like, don't come here and try to make America your country, because I think that's what they're trying to do. For sure, that's what they're trying to do. It's been proven. They do not care about us. They're just coming to use us. They're just coming to take the opportunity, and the deep state is using that. George Soros funded Mamdani. George Soros funded the Antifa riots. George Soros is a social engineer. He's part of the deep state. He's evil, okay? And he wants the immigration. Why is why is the UK in chaos right now? Because of immigration. And because they don't have guns. Sorry, they can't protect themselves, right? So the government is just bullying them and telling them, they got extreme censorship. They can't say anything bad about the government, or they'll get arrested if they share a meme or this. I mean, they are they're being oppressed. Okay, that's the reason why we left the UK in the first place. That's the reason why Americans had a revolution and we went to war, is to get away from these people. Allegedly. Now you could say that the deep state, they were Freemasons. Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, I think, were Freemasons. You could make that argument, maybe, or maybe they were just infiltrating in the movement. I don't know, but the story goes is that Americans broke off and left, and we got our own country. We didn't want to be under tyranny, but the UK is under tyranny right now, and they can't even speak out against it. Or without fear of being arrested. It's some jacked up crap, and it's coming to America. It's the real coming to America, and that's what my gut says about Mamdani. And that's what my gut says about this Seattle mayor, this new Seattle mayor. Is that's what it's really about. It's really, they're just puppets, because that's just the vibe I get. We'll see. Call me crazy. Call me a conspiracy theorist. We'll see. But get right with God, man. That's my advice to anybody. Get right with God, because it's coming soon. This stuff is escalating like crazy, and what's going on with Trump is nuts. What's going on with Trump is pretty bananas. He's being exposed as a trafficker, deep into it, just like Epstein. Best friends with Epstein for 10 years, and people are denying it, and it's getting wacky. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. Appreciate you listening. Jay Lee. Peace.